What if tomorrow morning every word you've ever known simply vanished? No English, no Spanish, no Chinese, no Tagalog, no names, no conversations, no books, no internet, only silence. Now, here's the impossible part. Nobody invented language. Every single sentence you've ever spoken, every joke you've laughed at, every promise, every love letter, every argument exists because billions of humans across thousands of years accidentally built something together. Not one genius, not one king, not one civilization. All of us now travel back nearly 300,000 years, long before cities, long before farming, before books, before history itself. Our ancestors walked a dangerous world. Every day was a fight to survive. Food was never guaranteed. Predators were everywhere, and one mistake could mean death. Imagine trying to survive without a single word. You couldn't say, "Run." Behind you, "I found food," or "I love you." You couldn't tell stories around a fire, teach your children, warn your family, or explain where danger was hiding. Everything depended on what others could guess. But humans were different from every other animal. We weren't the fastest. We weren't the strongest. We didn't have claws or sharp teeth. Our greatest advantage was working together. But cooperation has a limit if no one understands each other. Humanity had reached a crossroads. Either learn to communicate better or remain trapped in a world ruled by fear. And then something extraordinary happened. Not all at once, not in a single place, but over countless generations. Simple sounds became shared meanings. A gesture became an idea. An idea became a word. And those first fragile moments would eventually change the future of our species forever. Because before humans built civilizations, we first had to build language. For hundreds of thousands of years, our ancestors lived without dictionaries, without alphabets, without names. But that didn't mean they were silent. Long before the first word was ever spoken, humans were already communicating, not with sentences, but with their bodies. Imagine you're hunting with your family. A loud sound could scare away your prey or attract a predator. So instead, you point, you wave, you make eye contact, you signal with your hands. Many scientists think these simple gestures may have been among humanity's earliest forms of complex communication. Without speaking a single word, everyone understood. But gestures had limits. What if danger was hiding behind you? What if it was too dark to see? What if someone was far away? Hands weren't enough anymore. So humans likely began using sounds, not as random noises, but as signals. A sharp cry, a warning shout, a call to gather. Each sound carried meaning. Think about the sounds people make today. A laugh, a gasp, a scream, a sigh. You understand what they mean, even without words. Our distant ancestors probably relied on emotional sounds like these long before language became more structured. Over thousands of generations, those sounds may have become more consistent, more intentional, and easier for everyone in the group to understand. Now imagine one remarkable moment. A hunter points toward a river and makes the same sound every time. At first, it's just a habit. But eventually, everyone in the group begins using that same sound for that same place. Not because anyone made a rule, but because everyone understood each other. A shared sound had become a shared meaning. Children copied their parents. Parents taught their children. Generation after generation, those shared sounds spread. Some disappeared. Others survived. Little by little, humanity built the first building blocks of language. Not overnight, but across countless lifetimes. But a handful of shared sounds was only the beginning, because once humans could name the world around them, they could do something no other species had ever done. They could share ideas, and those ideas would change the course of history forever. Something extraordinary had begun. A few simple sounds were no longer just warnings. They were becoming symbols, not symbols carved into stone, but symbols carried inside the human mind. A sound could now represent a person, a place, an animal, or an idea. For the first time in Earth's history, knowledge no longer had to die with the one who discovered it. Imagine trying to teach a child without names. How would you explain water, fire, tree, or danger? You couldn't simply point forever. At some point, your ancestors began giving things consistent names, not because someone made a dictionary, but because entire communities slowly agreed on what certain sounds meant. Every generation inherited those sounds and added new ones of their own. As vocabularies grew, something incredible happened. Humans could finally share ideas before they became actions. A hunt could be planned before anyone picked up a spear. A warning could be given before danger appeared. Knowledge could spread without every person having to learn through painful experience. Language had become humanity's greatest survival tool. But language did something even more powerful. It allowed stories to survive. One generation could tell the next where food could be found, which plants were poisonous when the rivers flooded, how to make tools, and why the stars moved across the sky. For the first time, people could inherit thousands of years of experience without living through it themselves. Language unlocked something no other known species has mastered in quite the same way. The ability to talk about things that weren't in front of you tomorrow, yesterday, dreams, promises, hope, fear, even imaginary worlds. Humans were no longer trapped in the present. We could imagine the future and remember the past across Africa, Asia, Europe, Australia, and eventually the Americas. Communities grew apart, and as they did, their languages changed with them. One language became many. Many became thousands, each carrying its own stories, its own identity, its own way of seeing the world. But language still had one great weakness. It lived only in memory, and memories can be forgotten. Humanity needed a way to make words last forever. The answer would change civilization itself. For thousands of years, every story, every discovery, every lesson lived inside someone's memory. But memory is fragile. People forget. Details change. Entire generations disappear. If knowledge could only survive as long as the people who remembered it, how could civilization ever grow? Humanity needed something stronger than memory, Around 5,000 years ago, something extraordinary happened. In different parts of the world, people began turning to spoken language, into visible symbols, marks pressed into clay, pictures painted on walls, characters brushed onto bamboo, words written on papyrus. For the first time, language no longer disappeared when a voice fell silent. Ideas could outlive the people who created them. Writing transformed everything. Laws could be recorded. History could be preserved. Merchants could keep accounts. Scientists could build on earlier discoveries. A child could learn from someone who had lived centuries before. Human knowledge no longer had to start over with every generation. Civilization had found its memory. The journey didn't stop with ink. Books crossed oceans. Printing presses spread ideas faster than ever before. Telegraphs carried messages across continents. Telephones carried voices. The internet connected billions of people in an instant. Today, a single sentence can travel around the world in less than a second, something our ancestors could never have imagined. But here's the incredible part. Language is still changing. New words appear every year. Old words disappear. Slang spreads across the internet overnight. Emojis add emotion to our conversations. Every text message, every voice note, every comment you leave online becomes part of language's ongoing story. The greatest invention nobody invented is still evolving. Because of us, 300,000 years ago, our ancestors looked into each other's eyes and struggled to share even the simplest idea. Today, billions of people, separated by oceans, can speak, learn, argue, laugh, and dream together. Not because one person invented language, but because of countless generations added one small piece to a story that never truly ends. So let me leave you with one question. Thousands of years from now, when people study the language we speak today, which word, which phrase, or even which meme will they remember? Because of us, after all, humanity is still writing the next chapter of language.